Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing something a little bit different today. As you can tell from the screen, I'm screen recording myself doing a little tier ranking list, except it's not really tier ranking, but I'm gonna try to predict the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2020 for the romance category. I thought it'd be something a little bit fun, going through all the romance releases that came out this year, all the popular ones, seeing which ones will make the first round, the ones that'll probably be written in the final round, and I'm going to try to see who will win this year's Goodreads Choice Awards in the romance category. As you can see, I included a bunch of books. I think there are 46 books. There are book covers down here. Pretty much went through my Goodreads shelf for 2020. Picked all the popular releases with big ratings, all of my favorite books, all the books that were super hyped that I either read or didn't read yet. So these are all the books that I'll be putting into this little tier list. I'm sure I'm probably going to be missing some popular books this year that might make it into one of the rounds. But I mean, 45 books is more than enough for me to deal with just for this. If you're on Goodreads, you probably know what the Goodreads Choice Awards are. They're a yearly thing that happens around November. Popular books are nominated based on number of ratings and a number of people who have added those books to their shelves. So obviously the more popular books will end up on the list. One of the criteria is that the book has to have a rating of 3.5 or higher at the time of the Goodreads Choice Awards nominations, and the books also have to be released between November 2019 to November 2020. I believe each round has 15 books max, so I'm gonna try to make it 15 books total by the end. Also, I'm doing this pretty late. I think the 2020 nominations are happening on Tuesday, so this video is coming in clutch. Honestly, this is gonna be a really chill video. It's 7 p.m. I'm in my sweater, my Hello Lovely sweater. My code Lacey15 for 15% off. I have a blanket in case I get cold. It's getting chilly here in SoCal. But yeah, let's just get started. So the first round, first 15 books, the books that I think 100% will be showing up in the first round: Beach Read by Emily Henry, Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. That one released last year, but it was December last year, so it does qualify. Some LJ Shen books. Her books are always crazy popular, highly rated, so many ratings. I didn't love all of them, but I'm including them anyway. I'm just gonna go with 2 of them because I think that might be the limit. I've never seen an author have more than 2 books in any category, but Angry God for sure, even though I did not like this one. It has 19,000 ratings, still really good reviews, but I am curious to see if Playing with Fire or The Hunter will make it. Right now, The Hunter has more reviews, but that's only because it released earlier this year. Playing with Fire has 11,000. The Hunter has almost 18,000. So I guess I'm just gonna go with the higher rated one. I know Dear Ava was super popular this year. Another LJ Shen-esque book, a high school, mature young adult, new adult romance. I never read it, but I do want to. I've heard amazing things for it. I'm not 100% sure about this Sarah J. Maas book, Crescent City Book 1, House of Earth and Blood. This one was a 3-star read for me, but again, she's a super popular author, but I'm just not sure if it's going to be in the romance category or like fantasy category. I think she's usually either in the fantasy, sci-fi fantasy, or the young adult fantasy sections, but I still wanted to include the cover here anyway, so I'll leave this one down here for now. A Similar Dilemma, Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. I'm not sure if it's going to be categorized as romance or young adult. Probably young adult, because the Goodreads shelf, the popular shelf on the page, it shows fantasy, young adult, and then romance, so I'll also leave that one there for now. Some other super popular books this year were The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren, which I didn't read, but it has a pretty low rating compared to all of these other books. It has a 3.51, which just barely makes it from the 3.5 cutoff. They had 2 releases this year, this one and their Christmas one, but I doubt their Christmas one will even make it. But this one, the Honey Don't List, has like 20-something thousand ratings, so probably gonna show up. Colleen Hoover, like LJ Shen, probably will have more than one book in this category. Both of her books were quite popular this year. Heartbones also has like over 20,000 reviews, 20,000 ratings. From Blood and Ash 100% is going to show up. I would be pleasantly surprised if the sequel also does show up, maybe as a write-in. A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire does have a lot of ratings, a lot more than some of these books that I included, so it might actually show up. I just forgot to include it. You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle also gonna show up. It was super hyped this year. I wasn't a big fan. It was just an okay read for me, but it does have a ton of ratings. I need to include a lot more traditionally published books because those are the ones that always show up in the first round and then get voted off. If I Never Met You by Vari McFarlane. I have a feeling this one will show up. I like this one. It wasn't like a favorite. It didn't really blow me away, but I thought it was really fun. So not mad about that. What You Wish For by Catherine Center. She's always really popular. Even though, yes, her books are women's fiction and not actually romance. Are we really going to be surprised if we see fiction and women's fiction showing up in the romance category? Party of Two by Jasmine Guillory. It doesn't have a really high rating. It's not even four stars on Goodreads, but it does have a lot of ratings. Okay, so I have 12 books for now. I can only choose 3 more. So I'll go with the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. Her debut was huge last year. This year was also a really big success. I actually love this one. It's probably one of my favorites this year. It was so adorable. Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I'm definitely gonna include that one here. I still need to read this one. I loved Chloe Brown. Still haven't read the sequel. So one more book. Definitely gonna go with a traditionally published book. So I'm trying to decide between Undercover Bromance by Alyssa K. Adams and The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. Both of them have a ton of ratings, not rated that high. Neither of them have a 4-star average rating on Goodreads, but tons of ratings. Worst Best Man has slightly more though, so I'll just go with that one. So 15 books. These are probably what I'm guessing and assuming will probably show up in the first round of the Goodreads Choice Award nominations. Predominantly traditionally published, lots of illustrated covers, not quite as diverse as it could be. Oh, I actually almost forgot about the Amy Harmon book, Where the Lost Wander. Pretty high ratings, pretty popular this year too. I mean, Amy Harmon is always huge. Her historical fiction books are always very, very hyped. I'm just gonna include it as like a runner-up. And then let me just do the won't make it category. The books that I wish would make it but probably won't. Girl Gone Viral by Alicia Rai. I love this one so much this year. The Roommate by Rosie Danan. This one was an adorable read, very sex positive, not very highly rated surprisingly. But I loved it. Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. I'm hoping it'll be a write-in. I'm not sure it will because it doesn't have that many ratings, but I'm just gonna save it for the write-in. Oh wow, I also forgot about the Switch. Let me just squeeze it in here. Gonna cheat a little, include 17 books in the first round. Sea of Ruin, another one of my top favorites this year. Probably not gonna make it. Wild at Heart, probably not. As much as there was a lot of love for The Simple Wild. Nightfall, I also don't think it'll make it in. I really like this finale, but I just don't think it'll be even written in. But I could be wrong. I could be pleasantly surprised. I always love when Penelope Douglas makes it. Credence, I did not even include. I thought I did. Let me add it again. Okay, we're back with Credence. I want it to be written in. I love this book so much, but it's definitely not your typical romance book that would fit along with these other books. Don't Go Stealing My Heart also probably won't make it. One of my favorites this year. Loved it. So I think this is it for the first round. If this was the actual first round, I would probably vote for Beach Read. It's between Beach Read and From Blood and Ash. But I did love Beach Read a lot. It definitely lived up to the hype for me, so I vote for that one. So moving on to the write-ins. This is when a lot of the indie books will be moving in. A lot of the non-contemporary books that will probably be written in, like Chasing Cassandra by Lisa Kleypas. This is the lone historical romance, although A Rogue of One's Own might stand a chance too, but I think Chasing Cassandra hopefully maybe be written in. I hope it just shows up in one of these rounds. I love this one. I love Lisa Kleypas. I mean, you all know she's my favorite historical romance author. Where the Lost Wander, it's like historical fiction, not really historical romance. Ilona Andrews usually is written in the second round. Famine by Laura Thalassa, maybe. It did just release, so it doesn't have as many ratings as all these other ones, but she's always super popular and there's a ton of ratings for it on Amazon already. Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall, I am 100% sure will show up in one of these rounds. This one had a lot of praise and hype this year. It was an okay read for me. I gave it 3 stars. Credence, just because I have a lot of love for it and I want it to be written in. Mariana Zapata, she's usually a write-in for her books. Did she have another release this year? I don't remember. Let me check. So no, hands down was her only release this year, but it is definitely gonna make it into one of these rounds. The Dare by Elle Kennedy, actually. I'm just gonna put it in the won't make it section. I mean, she's really popular. A lot of people love her, but The Dare just didn't really live up to the hype. Definitely didn't get a lot of love as much as her more popular books. Sweet Temptation by Cora Riley, I think stands a chance just because a lot of people talked about this one. There's a ton of ratings on Goodreads. I actually just finished this one for our Ravished by Romance book club October read. The live show is on Friday night, October 30th. I have some thoughts on this one. I'll wait until I put up my Halloween vlog and the live show to talk about it some more, but I do think it stands a chance to be written in. Alpha Knight as well. This is mainly like me wanting it to be written in because I love Nalini Singh. I mean, it actually does have a good amount of ratings to be included. Not My Romeo by Ilsa Madden-Mills, which did pretty well this year, but not as well as Dear Ava. I'm just gonna leave it down here. You Had Me at Ola. I have no idea. It's either written in or it won't make it. Fake It Till You Break It by Megan Brandy. I didn't actually hear that much hype for this one, but it has a ton of ratings, which is why I included the cover down here. I read one of her books earlier this year because I was going to do something for Polycon, but then a Polycon didn't happen. But I didn't read this one, but it does have a ton of ratings on Goodreads, 13,000. I'm just going to include it. Why not? Favor for a Favor also did well. Enemies by Tijin did very well. I'm actually crazy surprised by how popular it was on Goodreads when I looked it up. I enjoy Tijin every once in a while. She's a hit and miss author for me, but I did not read Enemies. It actually has 25,000 ratings, so it might actually deserve to be in the first round. Let me just move it. Playing with Fire. I don't know. I think The Hunter and Angry God will move on unless an author can have more than 2 books in a category, but probably not. Lover or Loser by Tessa Bailey, also popular this year. This is one of my favorite books this year though, so it could be a write-in, but I feel like I have more than enough write-ins for now. Before the final round, I think it also has 15 books, maybe less, but I'm just gonna put 15 because I don't remember. The ones that are moving on, 100% Beach Read, Regretting You, Heartbones probably, like the 2 authors that will always have more than 1 book if they release more than 1 book in that year. LJ Shen and Colleen Hoover. I feel like Javi Jimenez has a ton of fans, so they'll vote for the Happy Ever After playlist. Okay, I zoomed in a little because I forgot you can see what's going on outside of this tier list. You Deserve Each Other is probably moving on. From Blood and Ash for sure. Dear Ava probably. So those are the 9 books that will probably move on, which leaves 6 books from the write-ins. Have a feeling hands down. Sweet Temptation maybe. I think Boyfriend Material will make it. Chasing Cassandra, hopefully. I really want it to be in the final round. Credence, and one more. Just gonna go with Ilona Andrews because her books usually end up in the final round, I think. Last year, the first book in the series, Sapphire Flames, was a write-in. Showed up in the last round, I think. But I mean, I did love Emerald Blaze, so I am a little bit biased. So those are the 15 books that will probably show up in the final round. I am 100% sure that at least half of these books will show up on the actual Goodreads nominations, like these first 6, 7 books. But the winner for this year, I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty easy choice for a lot of people. It's going to be Beach Read. I have like no hesitation about saying this is going to be the winner. This year, Beach Read is what everyone has been talking about, the book that everyone has been loving. Also, it has 84,000 ratings, which is crazy. The most rated book compared to all of these books, and you could probably combine a lot of the final round books and it won't even add up to that 84,000. But yeah, I have a feeling Beach Read will be this year's winner. I did love this one. It lived up to the hype for me. It is right on my shelves, right next to me, but this is going to be my guess for this year's winner. The book that I will probably be voting for. I am a little bit excited to see how this year's books will be doing for the Goodreads Trust Awards. I mean, there's always going to be some problem with the romance category every year. Goodreads just doesn't really care to differentiate the difference between fiction and romance. I do think that a lot of people will see Beach Read as women's fiction more than romance, but I honestly felt like it felt totally fine as a romance. Like the romance was on equal footing to everything else that was happening in the story, but I'm sure we'll still see some complaints about it, which is fair. But that's about it for this video. It was my first time using this little tier ranking list, and it was actually a lot of fun. I might do this more in the future. Let me know if you guys want to see these kinds of videos. Let me know what you think of my nominations, if you think I'm right, if you think some other book deserves to be included in the rounds as a winner. Again, I do think that the nominations, the voting starts this week, so I need to upload this video before it doesn't even matter. I hope you enjoyed this video. Links to everything will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!